Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 46 of the Overnight Feed Recaps for Big Brother Season 26. A good Labor Day to y'all. I hope y'all all are going to enjoy our extra holiday here. The house guests certainly did. They still had the grill in their backyard. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The big question yesterday, last night, and it's going to be the case this morning until the veto ceremony. Will she or won't she? And we're talking about Leah, whether or not she's going to use the veto. Leah eventually had a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of discussions, and to this point, we still don't know for certain. She still hasn't decided. I've got my own opinion. We'll talk about at the end, but officially, Leah has not decided whether she's going to use that veto yet or not. And if she did, the anticipation, the thinking would be it'd be used on Angela, but who knows? We had some other ideas thrown out there, but yeah, we just don't know yet. All right, she did tell Quinn yesterday that she wants Angela on jury, that she wants to have at least one vote that if she makes it to the final two, that she knows would vote for her to win the Big Brother for the season. So she really wants to have Angela on jury. Quinn then proceeded to give her a lot of reasons why keeping Angela really doesn't benefit Leah. He talked about that the house is going to upset. From this point on, they're going to put you and Angela up together as a pair if you save her like that, that people really don't pay attention to what happened in the first part of the season. She may not be that strong vote that you think she is. A lot of reasons. Some I agree with, some I disagree with, but Quinn certainly putting the hard press on Leah not to use that veto. He did say that if she does use it, he's going to make everyone draw Skittles to see who goes up. We've heard that again. If he does, I don't like it. If he does, I'm going to Photoshop his face on the cowardly lion from the Wizard of Oz or something. That's not the way you make a decision. Not a big fan of that. But if he does, I hope someone gets picked that is one of his tightest alliances. I hope Joseph or Chelsea or T-Core, someone else goes up because I hope it backfires on him. You don't draw Skittles. You don't play with someone's life like that. Yeah, my own soapbox. We'll move on, but he has said that he will draw Skittles if the veto has been used. All right, the plan was for Leah to have one-on-ones with everyone to discuss this decision. She put it off all day long. She finally did it all night long. So we had a lot of conversations to talk about. So let's continue the feeds. We've got Joseph and Chelsea talking. Joseph is telling Chelsea that he realizes now that maybe he was harsh and a bit of a jerk to Angela yesterday. Remember, he had that conversation where he's saying, you're not even due. Win the BBA Arena. But other than that, you're going home. There's no one that trusts you. You've blown up too many people's games. So now he's telling Angela that he feels like he was maybe a little too harsh in doing that. He realizes that Angela was just asking for help, and he really kind of laid it on her afterwards. He says that he has a mean streak that he wants to work on, that he needs to work on. Chelsea is saying that there are things that she has said that she regrets also. Now, y'all know me. I'm always forgiving of the people in this house and their actions in the house. We are asked to play a game that is ruthless, that is cutthroat 24 hours a day. And then we criticize some of these house guests when maybe they take on that role more fully than we want. You just live this game while you're in there 24 hours a day. It's hard to not be playing the game in your house. And that's why I try to stay very positive and very forgiving with these people. And so in Joseph's situation, he's playing the game. It's just playing the game, I think. All right, later we've got Quinn mentioning to Leah that he told Joseph to apologize to Angela and to stop talking about some of the stuff that happened with Matt and all of that. So maybe are Joseph's regrets truly based on him feeling bad about maybe how he talked to Angela? Or is it just more gameplay? You never know in the game of Big Brother. All right, we've got Angela campaigning to Chelsea and MJ Mackenzie a little bit, saying that they can use her to their advantage, that if she survives and wins HOH, neither one of them is going to go up. She's saying that she doesn't know if Leah will use the veto, and she didn't ask, and it doesn't really matter. But with the two of them, it's all about the vote, that just neither one of them will go up if she faces a vote comes Thursday and they vote to save Angela. All right, we've got Angela and Chemo really bonding over both of them being on the block, how hard it is. Angela's offering Chemo advice that he needs to just be very trusting of his people that he's working with. Maybe that's a little advice that Angela would maybe ought to consider as well. Trust the people you're working with. Doesn't always work so well. The paranoia strikes deep in this game. All right, we've got Chelsea asking Leah if she's going to use a veto. Later, Leah complained. Complained, maybe that's a little strong word. Chelsea, as soon as Leah comes out, says, "Hey, are you going to use a veto?" And Leah said, "Well, that's a tough way to start a conversation." Leah says, "I'm going to talk to everyone about it. I'll figure it out later." Later, Leah does ask Chelsea about using the veto, and Chelsea says, "Well, really, in all honesty, Leah, my only opinion about that is I'm just grateful it's not me." And I don't know if she's talking about being the veto being used on or having to make the decision about using the veto. But basically, Chelsea's saying, I'm hands off on this. I'm not going to be able to help you with this decision, Leah. Chelsea mentioned that she liked chicken wings at one point during the day. So now Cam is in the backyard fixing chicken wings up for everyone on the backyard grill. Everyone ate them, well, except Mackenzie and Chemo, who are have-nots, but everyone else ate them and seemed to really enjoy them. Sat around the patio in the backyard, so enjoying the Labor Day weekend. Lots of talk, non-game talk, but lots of talk about dating and dating apps and things like that. But yeah, they got some chicken wings. Cam and Chelsea certainly seem to be linking closer and closer together nowadays. So yeah, they're enjoying each other's company, and Chelsea got some wings out of it. All right, there's T-Core, and that sounds pretty good. Maybe I'll have some wings to celebrate my Labor Day. All right, we've got T-Core and Rubina talking. T-Core's talking about how upset she is with Quinn, and that if Rubina or Chemo go home this week, it's going to be even worse. T-Core is not happy with Quinn whatsoever. She's upset not just that they're on the block, but she's also upset that no one asked her for her point of view this week. No one consulted her. And I get that. I think T-Core's complained before about she wants to be part of the collaborations. She doesn't want to just be a drag along in these alliances. She had the power last week. I think she suddenly saw that maybe she was getting to exert some influence. And as soon as she loses that power, it's right back. So it's not just Chemo and Rubina on the block. It's the fact that no one asked her for her point of view this week. They've just kind of blown her off somewhat. She's also saying, I kept Leah off the block for Quinn last week, and now he's just completely dismissive of me. So yeah, T-Core not feeling well about the way this game has turned in the last week. All right, we've got Quinn and Chelsea and Joseph and T-Core talking. Quinn is saying that there's an 8% chance that Leah uses the veto today. I think it's more like 12%. Yeah, well, let's just get it right down to the very tiny number. Sounds like something me and Terry would say. But yeah, he thinks an 8% chance that Leah's going to use the veto this week. They think that he's saying they might need to have a house meeting where he'll ask for volunteers just in case she does use a veto. Who is going to volunteer? Maybe it's better than pulling Skittles, I guess, but Quinn is going to do whatever he can to make sure he does not get any more blood on his hands in the event that the veto is used. But I don't know. Here's the thing. Even if the veto is not used, if he tries to force someone to volunteer, if he forces someone to use Skittles, and whoever draws the red, green, black, is there such thing as a black Skittle? There should be if you're drawing for something like this. But whoever draws the bad Skittle, even if the veto's not used, I feel like that's going to create a little bad blood with Quinn right there. That, hey, you are willing to risk my game over a random draw. So I think there's pros and cons to doing what Quinn's talking about doing, but he does not want more blood on his hands. All right, we've got MJ and Chelsea and Cam talking. They're complaining about Joseph. Joseph has managed to make himself a much bigger target than he should have been at this point in the game, just because he started talking a little too much and sounding a little cocky, a little too arrogant. So MJ and Chelsea and Cam are complaining about him. Mackenzie is saying that Joseph told her that he doesn't think of her as a threat anymore because he knows that she can help his game. And he knows at the end that he could beat her in a final two anyway. So, you're not a threat anymore, Mackenzie. You don't have to worry about me because I know I'm going to dominate if it comes down to the two of us at the end, is basically what he's saying. Chelsea's saying, hey, Joseph told me the same thing. Mackenzie, is not just you. So, yeah. Later, Mackenzie tells this to Rubina. Rubina then tells it to T-Core. So basically, the whole house knows that Joseph is saying that his strong social game should be able to beat out anyone else in this house. And that's never a good way to build relationships with other people. Kind of a good way to maybe use as justification for why maybe you shouldn't be sticking around any longer. Because if you truly think your game's going to beat my game, I sure don't want you at the final two, right? Later, MJ tells Rabina and tells T-Core. We mentioned that. All right, Cam is wondering, he's saying, Joseph really has changed a lot here just lately. Is there a chance that Joseph just wanted to make jury and now he's just kind of given up a little bit? I don't think that's the case. I think Joseph is just playing Joseph's game and perhaps not understanding the way some people are receiving it at this point in time. All right, we've got Chelsea and Cam thinking that if Leah does use the veto today, that she ought to not use it on Angela. She ought to use it on Rabina and then put Joseph up. I don't think there's any chance that the first happens. I think it's very unlikely the second half would happen. Although Quinn, being Quinn, could put up Joseph, I suppose. I don't see either one of those happening, but that's what Chelsea and Cam would like to see occur. There's talk about their alliance with Quinn and the idea of potentially bringing T-Core in, but they don't know that T-Core would actually leave Chemo and Rabina to join this alliance. And I think it was Cam and Chelsea and Quinn and Leah and Mackenzie. So many alliances out there. But yeah, they're talking about bringing T-Core, but not sure she'd leave Chemo and Rabina behind. Chelsea also is saying beyond that, I just think that T-Core is very skeptical of Quinn. Would she be willing to work with Quinn going forward? Well, knowing how upset T-Core is with Quinn, that's a good question, Chelsea. All right, we've got Quinn and Chelsea and T-Core talking about meeting again later to figure out who they want to work with going forward. So yeah, there's so many alliances, and you get Cam and Chelsea talking to Mackenzie at one point. Next thing you know, T-Core and Chelsea and Quinn are talking about forming a group. I can't even keep track of the scorecards anymore at this point. All right, we've got Joseph and Quinn talking a little bit. Quinn's worried that people are going to think that he is the schemer in the house. You think that may be the case, Quinn? He's worried about that. Joseph is worried that he's thinking too far ahead in this game. He's saying that he's saying things now that he wants people to kind of keep in mind in the end game. Maybe when they're making a vote for Final Two and all of that. I get it. You don't, in some ways, when you play Big Brother, you want to downplay your game so you seem like less of a threat to the other people. So maybe they keep you a little bit longer. But if you downplay it too much, when you get to the end, are people not going to give you credit for making the moves that you made and all that? So it's a very fine line that you have to walk. And apparently Joseph has just decided and now realizing that maybe he's pushed a little too hard for trying to get a lot of credit for his game too early in the process. And I think he's probably right. He's telling Quinn that he thinks that's what he's doing so far. All right, we've got Quinn and Leah talking. Leah's saying this is in the bathroom. Late in the evening. I thought it was late in the evening. Turned out we had a much later evening. Quinn and Leah in the bathroom. Leah saying that she never had her one-on-ones with anyone. She still doesn't know about using her veto. Quinn is saying at this point, you just need to follow your heart. He says that, but there's still a lot of convincing that Quinn's trying to convince Leah, put the hard press on her to not use a veto. But he's saying just use your heart at this point in time. They're talking about forming yet another new group. Maybe it's one of the ones we've already talked about. I hope you know that. Talk about forming a new group. And he's telling Leah that this new group would be him and her and Mackenzie, a group of 3. So at least we've seen some improvement. Instead of having a house with 10 people and an alliance of like 8 people, at least now we're down to 3 people type group. So yeah, Gwen and Leah are talking about maybe having Mackenzie as the third and being a group of 3. And then he's saying, well, and maybe we could have the people who voted out Tucker, assume that they all are comfortable working together so they could be the bigger group. But at the end, it would just be us as the 3. Well, if you take these 3 and the people who voted for Tucker, it's just way too many people at this point in the game. All right, we did have a big group up in the HOH room, and I'm going to try to kind of break them up based on how I think their connections and bonds and alliances are right now. Up in the HOH room, we've got Quinn and Leah and Mackenzie. We've got Chelsea and Cam. We've got T-Core, Chemo, and Rabina. And then we've got Angela. And so we've got a big group up there. Obviously, no game talk going on. This is a slumber party that Quinn wanted to have for everyone. He talked about doing the night before, didn't work out. They had it last night instead. No game talk whatsoever. Just a lot of general chat, talking about movies and things like that. But we did have a lot of the house hanging out with each other together last night. And I thought maybe that could be the end of the evening and maybe get some sleep last night. No. Remember I said that Leah hadn't had one-on-ones with anyone? Well, she started having a whole lot of one-on-ones last night. So we'll start off with Leah having a one-on-one with Angela. She's saying that she loves and cares for Angela, but she wants to hear everyone out first before she makes her decision. The way Leah said it, it just makes me think that she's preparing Angela for not using the veto. I love you. I want to use it, but I've got to talk to everyone else first, Angela. So she does mention that. Angela does offer, I thought, a pretty interesting proposal to Leah, or thought. She says, look, I will not go after Quinn. I want to go after Quinn, but I will not go after Quinn if that's what you want. I want to work with you, and if that means not going after him, so be it. And I hadn't thought about it until then, but that could be a concern of Leah's if she truly is trying to work with Quinn and how that works with Angela. So Angela's shutting it down, saying, I won't go after him. I'll just leave him alone if that's what you want, Leah. Angela is saying that even second or third place money in this game would be amazing for her family. So she's brought up the money issue, and keep that in mind because it comes up a little bit later. All right, second one-on-one we've got is Leah and Chemo talking. Chemo is saying that he isn't going to ask Leah to use the veto on him. That's probably good. Probably a lot of wasted breath to try to do that, but he's saying he isn't going to ask her to do that. Leah does say that she would be open to working with Chemo and T-Core in the future. They had a decent heart-to-heart. Not a lot of game talk, but just, that they appreciate each other's game and all of that. So she's saying, hey, if things work out, look me up when you get off the block, and maybe you and T-Core and us can work together. All right, we've got Leah and Rubina talking as another one-on-one. Rubina is saying that she just doesn't think she can campaign against Chemo if it comes down to that. So it's tough for Rubina this week. She's telling Leah that her fear is that Leah is going to use the veto on Angela. In other words, she wants Angela on the block. She feels like that's her path to safety, is to make sure that Angela stays on the block, so that even if Rubina doesn't win BBA Arena, she feels like she could win the votes against Angela. So she's telling Leah, my biggest fear, if you use that, please don't use that veto. Leah, if it comes down to it, she thinks that Rubina would be, or that T-Core would be the renom. And that's her fear. Not only that Angela is an easier target, but it could be T-Core on the block. So T-Core, Rubina, and Chemo. And obviously Rubina doesn't think there's any good outcome with that particular configuration. So she does not want Leah to use the veto. Rubino is saying that she had talked from the beginning of forming something with the women, and she's still open for that. Rubina is saying that she will definitely vote for a woman at the end of this game. In other words, hey, consider keeping me around, because I'm definitely going to vote for a woman. And Leah, you're a woman, so you could get a vote from me as a result. Not a fan of anyone declaring that race or gender or orientation or anything like that is going to be their deciding factor on who wins the game at the end. Vote for who you thought played the best game. But she's saying, hey, I'm happy voting for a woman, so keep that in mind. All right, we got Leah and Chelsea talking now, another one-on-one. Chelsea is telling Leah, similar to what she said before, saying, do whatever you want with this veto. But she does say, or mention, that she thinks that Joseph has been very insensitive playing the game so far, and she would prefer anyone on the block to stay in this house over Joseph. That she would just as soon. So in other words, she's hinting around that, hey, if you use the veto, maybe we could at least get Joseph on the block. Now, unfortunately, neither one of these two make the decision. It's Quinn that makes the decision. But certainly, back to what she had said with Cam as well, she would like to see Joseph on the block and Joseph heading out the door. Not sure it's going to happen, but she's mentioning it to Leah at this point. Leah's saying that Joseph isn't hanging out with anyone tonight because he feels so safe. Chelsea is saying, just keep this in mind, Leah. If we'd had a different HOH winner this week, you and I could have been on the block. So keep track of who was working with you and who was working against you before Quinn got the HOH, before you got the veto. And keep that in mind when you're making some of these decisions. All right, we've got Leah and Cam talking a little bit. Not a whole lot of conversation here. Cam doesn't think that she should use the veto at the end. He's suggesting that she not use it. All right, we've got Leah and Joseph. Remember, Joseph was not really hanging around. Well, he's come up for his one-on-one with her. Leah's talking to Joseph. He says that he thinks that people are trying to link him and Leah together, and therefore he's been kind of distancing himself from her so it doesn't look that apparent. He doesn't think that he's a target at this point in time. He is saying that he's sad that he made Angela upset. He thinks Angela is spinning things to make it sound a lot worse than it was, but he's still upset that he made her upset. So he points that out to Leah. He says he would prefer that she not use the veto. I don't know if it's because he thinks there's a chance he could go up, or he just, again, is working with Quinn and wants to protect the not getting more blood on Quinn's hands, things like that. But he's telling Leah he would prefer that she not use a veto. He does suggest to Leah that she and Quinn and himself could be a group of three. A lot of suitors for Leah right now, right? So yeah, he's suggesting a group of three with him and Leah and Quinn. He is saying that if he won HOH, he would put up Rubina on the block, which I kind of thought was like, well, I thought y'all were kind of, together, not together, but the fact that they all voted to save Tucker and all that. But he says it's that very reason that he actually voted to save Tucker. He says save Rubina's man, and she still isn't really acknowledging it or anything else. So I guess he's a little upset he didn't get more recognition, that he was willing to stand his ground on that vote. So he's saying he'd put up Rubina if he had the chance. All right, we've got Leah and T-Core talking. I told you there were a lot of one-on-ones last night, right? Middle of the night one-on-ones as well. T-Core saying that she hadn't been able to play her game, that she just keeps getting lumped into alliances, drug into alliances without actually being asked for a lot of decision-making. She wants more control of her game. T-Core is also talking about how the women have been killing it this season. And Leah saying that at the end, I'm just going to sleep on it. I'm going to trust my gut. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, T-Core. T-Core says, I think Leah asked T-Core, says, who are you most nervous about in this house? And T-Core says, Joseph. Joseph is the one that has me worried. A lot of people worried about Joseph. All right, we've got Leah and Mackenzie on a one-on-one. Yeah, Mackenzie always tries to be the last person to talk with whoever has the power, and she's done it again this evening, more or less. So Leah and MJ are talking. Leah, they're actually pretty happy with each other. Leah is saying everyone loves the two of them, and they are so up at this point in time. Talking about, hey, we were on the bottom, and everyone's coming. You were having to fight, in that BBA arena just to survive, and no one trusted me with anything. Now everyone loves us. We are doing so well in this house. As we see, things can change on a dime week to week. So they may love you this week, they may hate you next week, and we're going to see that. Leah worried about her perception in the house, and does she portray herself? Does she make herself look stronger by using the veto? Does she make people like her more by not using the veto? That's what she's got to figure out here. All right, we've got T-Core complaining to Rubina that she didn't get a chance to talk to Leah because Mackenzie came in to talk to her after only 2 minutes. As soon as she sat down and started talking to Leah, Mackenzie came in wanting to have a one-on-one. It wasn't 2 minutes. It was, I don't know how long it was, 20 minutes, half an hour. T-Core got a long time to talk to Leah. But yeah, she's definitely complaining a little bit about Mackenzie and the way that went down. Rubina is suggesting that T-Core needs to talk to Quinn. She recognizes that T-Core is just not happy with Quinn. She's expressed her frustrations throughout the evening. She's saying, you got to go talk to Quinn. Let him know how you feel, and maybe get a better feel for why he did what he did. Y'all got to work this stuff out. So Rubina kind of being the voice of reason and telling T-Core to go visit with Quinn a little bit. All right, we've got Mackenzie and Chelsea talking. There, I think, if I recall, Chelsea may have been in the shower, which I hate when people tried to talk to me while I was in the shower. But Mackenzie and Chelsea are talking. Mackenzie is saying that they're in a good position to play both sides of the house right now. So many different alliances. There are a lot of people playing both sides, it would seem like. But saying they're in a good position to play both sides. She's talking about this girls' alliance, which suddenly keeps getting brought up a little bit more. She's saying that she wouldn't say no to it. She may not be the one to push it, but she's certainly not going to say no if all the women want to get together at this point in time. All right, Quinn is telling T-Core and Rubina and Chemo that he is not above begging Leah not to use the veto in order to protect them a little bit more. Remember, Quinn has told him, Angela's a target. Yeah, I know you're up, Rubina. I know you're up, Chemo, but all four of us, we all still should be good. Rubina and Chemo, you should be fine as long as Angela stays on the block. So he's saying, I'll beg Leah if I need to in order to not have her use that veto. Quinn thinks as long as he does all that, he's good with these four. not realizing how upset Tikor is, regardless of what happens with the vote on Thursday. He is saying that he thinks that if the veto was used, the House would want Joseph as a replacement. I think he's right on that. The question is, would Quinn use Joseph as a replacement? All right, we've got Joseph and Quinn talking a little bit. I think they're in the backyard at this point in time. Joseph is saying that he told Leah the only person that Leah would be in trouble with if she was on the block would be Angela. In other words, why keep Angela? She's the one person, if you're on the block with her, they may vote you home instead of Angela. I completely disagree with that. I think they would send Angela out before Leah. I think there's several other people. I don't know. I think Joseph may be oversimplifying a little bit. But yeah, he's saying, I told Leah if she keeps Angela and she ever goes on the block against her, it could be Leah's game. Quinn is talking about the fact that no one is really connecting him and Joseph together at this point in time. They've both been. Joseph says, I keep telling people I'm trying to rebuild trust with you. We heard Quinn talking about to several about, Joseph would probably be the one the House wants. So they're both agreeing that no one's really connecting the two of them is still working together at this point in time. All right, and finally, we've got Leah and Quinn up in the HOH room. Pretty long conversation as they try to hash this out again. Leah still has not made a decision after all the conversations. Quinn is saying that using a vote on Angela would definitely mess up his game. Yeah, just so you know, it'd mess up my game, Leah. Leah is saying that Angela promised not to go after Quinn, so keep that in mind. If that's why you're so insistent, Quinn, just know she wouldn't come after you. Quinn is saying, Angela's just going to tell you whatever you want to hear, Leah. Just because she says she's not going to come after me does not mean she won't come after me. Leah just doesn't agree with that. She said, I trust her. I believe her. Why would she lie to me at this point in time? Well, she is on the block, Leah, but she is not agreeing with Quinn that she would still come after Quinn if she survived and got HOH. And Quinn's saying she just is telling you what you want to hear. Leah is saying that she is still leaning towards using the veto on Angela, so she has at least one vote if she makes final two. And Quinn is saying, look, Leah, if you use a vote on Angela, you're going to go up next to Angela from this point on. Whenever they put Angela up, they're going to put you up next to her, and chances are you will get voted out and not Angela. Same thing that Joseph has said earlier. Leah disagrees. She thinks she's got more votes than that, and I think she does. But that's the pitch that Quinn is making. Leah's saying that she just wants to make Angela to make jury. She's like, I just want her to make jury. Is that so stupid? Quinn says, respectfully, yes. He's got to be careful. If he pushes too hard, I think he's going to push Leah away. And I think if Angela goes and Leah maybe feels a little bit more alone, she's going to have some regret. She's going to spend the rest of the season wondering and regretting. So I understand what Quinn's doing. It certainly benefits his game not to have the veto used. But if he pushes too hard, it makes it look like he forced her to do it as opposed to kind of the group all pressuring her. I think that could create friction on down the road. But he's saying, if you use it, respectfully, it is a stupid decision. I don't think it's that stupid. Leah's saying that Joseph and Cam and Quinn are all saying don't use the veto, that everyone else is just saying do what you think benefits your game the best. Eventually, she starts crying a little bit. She's just stressed out trying to figure this out, trying to keep everyone happy. Quinn's trying to keep everyone happy, not get any blood on his hands. Leah, in some ways, is doing the same thing. She is saying that using the veto could make a statement, but it also could make her a target. And which one's more important at this point in time? Leah at one point says on a positive note, if she doesn't use a veto, that everyone will like her and that Angela still has a chance to pull herself off the block by winning BBAI Arena. So that certainly suggests to me that she's maybe now leaning towards not using the veto. She's also saying that Angela bringing up second place money earlier in the evening leaves a really bad taste in Leah's mouth. I think that does it right there, guys. I think based on everything that she just said and her wanting to be a bit of a floater, certainly everyone in the house, her wanting everyone in the house to like her, I think all of that combined is starting to lean towards her not using the veto today. But we'll find out. Finally, Leah's talking about her in a 5-person alliance with Quinn and Mackenzie and Cam and Chelsea. She's saying that makes sense. That seems like a very solid 5 that she's all on board for and thinks that would work great. She does mention the possibility of maybe switching Cam out with Tikor. that she'd like to have T-Core in that group as well. But the problem, if you bring T-Core in, do you have to bring Chemo and Rubina? And that's some of the discussions they've had already. But there is more talk about this group of 5 of her and Quinn and Mackenzie, and then add on Cam and Chelsea they probably won't call it the Pentagon, but whatever 5-person alliance they want to call it at this point in time. And with that, lights are out around 5 o'clock or so Big Brother time, 7 o'clock Houston time. It turned into a late evening, and we still don't know. The question is still undecided. Leah's going to be torn right up to the veto ceremony itself. But I think at the end, here's my opinion. First, I wish she would use it. Not that in some ways I think it's time for Angela to go, but I would love to see her use it just to create maximum chaos in this house and to see what happens. So I would, and because so many people are pressuring her not to use it, I'd like to see her stand up to that pressure and say, by God, I'm going to use it no matter what. So personally, I would like to see the veto used, but I don't think it'll be used. I think based on what she said at the end of the evening, with the pressure from certain people, I think at the end of the day, Leah does not use a veto. If that's the case, then Angela goes home unless she wins BBAI Arena. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It's only Monday, so we've got several days to go. We will have the veto ceremony today. We'll have a little more clarity about what's going to happen after that, and we'll find out. There you have it, guys. Again, everyone in bed by 5 o'clock or so. Y'all have a great Monday. Now, tonight, I do have Big Brother Cliff Notes Live, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central on YouTube. Give me your thoughts. Bring your questions, your opinions. I want to talk about it all. We'll talk about what's going to happen the rest of the week. So Cliff Notes Live tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. And then tomorrow morning, I'll be back to let you know everything that happened on the veto and what happened overnight. Guys, enjoy the last day of the Labor Day holiday. Until this evening, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.